Hello, everyone. My name is Flo.
This is Jane.
I'm Sandy.
And this is Brandon.
And I'm Jaime, and this is String Along.
This is episode 14, and today we will be talking about astrology. We have a guest to talk about it with us. So, Jaime, can you tell us what is astrology?
So, astrology is the study of the stars, not to be confused with astronomy, which they're close. But astrology is kind of like the study of the stars in proximity to people and to us, and how the stars affect us as human beings. The most popular style of astrology, and the one that we almost everyone knows, is Hellenic astrology. But many civilizations have had their own form of astrology. There's Chinese astrology, where it's based off of the year and yin and yang, and what animal, like I'm year of the rat, someone's year of the tiger, dragon, whatever. And there's also Mayan astrology, Thai astrology. Many different kinds of civilizations have had their own form of astrology. So this is like totally not like a new thing. This is a very ancient style of way of understanding who we are as humans. And for a long time, it's been used as a way, not just for like matchmaking, and um, it's been used for matchmaking mainly, but it's many civilizations has used astrology as a way of psychology and understanding people. So astrology is kind of like how we study the stars and how the energies of the stars and planets affect us as people, and how we have grown up. It's kind of like a external way of studying how people are affected by the stars and outer bodies.
And what got you into it?
So, what got me into astrology is kind of like heavily um, when I was kind of exploring myself as a person growing up. I got really into like witchcraft and all these things way before TikTok got into it. Way before TikTok witches or whatever got into it. I was kind of already exploring like spirituality for myself, and for me, astrology kind of was just part of the package of just like I like this is a completely different conversation, but like my way of finding my spiritual growth was um, kind of a way for me to decolonize myself and kind of go back to roots as like a Filipino and a Chinese person, and understanding the intersectionalities of colonization and how that affects my people, and like kind of just rejecting beliefs, especially as a queer person. Like I did not want to believe in a religion that I was forced into by family and by culture. So astrology kind of came with the package of my spiritual growth.
hmm Do you feel like astrology and religion kind of like connect?
They can. So when we talk about um, Abrahamic religions, right? So the Abrahamic religions would be Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. Those three kind of reject astrology now.
hmm
Modern day Judaism, Islam, and Christianity reject astrology. But if you actually look into the history, there were times when Christians, um, Muslims, and Jews were actually like heavily using astrology as a way to understand people. Um, Astrology is also not just used as psychology, but it's kind of used as a way to predict how things are going to plan out, how wars are going to turn out, how um, political powers are going to set in play for the next generation, and stuff like
hmm
that. Um, there's a whole belief that the stars kind of um, have already pre-written human civilization, and that we just need to kind of decode that. The reason why religions like the Abrahamic religions, the reason why they reject astrology is because they don't believe that we as humans have the right to know what God's plan is through the stars. But other spiritual um, religions kind of use astrology as a way for still understanding people and kind of predicting what the future lies for people, for human civilization.
So does it only predict the future, or can it tell you a bit about the past as well?
For myself personally, I don't believe in predicting the future. Uh, I think what astrology does is kind of, if we look at what the stars do, we can kind of, it's like a clue as to what is most likely going to happen, but it's not set in stone as to like this is what the future is going to be and this is what's going to happen. It's never been like that, and it's never posed itself as a way of like fortune telling. It's kind of just been like these are some hints and clues as to what might possibly happen for the next couple of years, months, days, or hours even.
Now that you kind of explained a bit more about like astrology, can you talk more of the specifics, like how it tells our personality and stuff?
Yeah, so Hellenic astrology, the one that most people know is their sun sign, right? Everyone knows like, oh, I'm an Aries, I'm a Pisces, I'm an Aquarius. Actually, really quick, why doesn't everyone tell me what their sun sign is?
Yeah, I'll go first. For me, it's Gemini. I was born on end of May.
Gemini. Okay.
Why?
I'm a Virgo.
Virgo, cool.
I'm a Sagittarius.
Sagittarius.
And you know me, I'm Aquarius like you, Jamie.
Yeah, I'm an Aquarius as well. Happy belated birthday to us.
Yeah.
All right, happy birthday! Happy birthday!
Thanks. I just turned 24. I'm old.
Too.
Sandy, we're the same age, right? We're both 24 now.
We're both 24, yeah.
We're old.
Oh gosh.
Start taking those collagen pills. So we have our sun sign. That's what everyone knows. And then more increasingly, people are starting to know what their moon sign is, what their rising sign is, and those are our big three. So the sun sign is kind of like how you kind of are with other people. And then your moon sign is how you are personally to yourself. The moon kind of like rules your emotions, how you feel, how you are privately to yourself or to private partners. Your rising sign is your mask, kind of like how you outwardly project yourself to people. Um, Mine is, I'm a double Libra, so my moon sign is a Libra, my rising sign is a Libra, so I kind of take from Libra energies. I have personalities that are like peacemaker, talkative, elegant person, or like someone who's really into aesthetics. Compared paired with like my um sun in Aquarius, I'm also very quirky, very like into like humanitarian things and just like about the collective and stuff like that. Then you can go to like some other planets like your Venus, which kind of rules how you feel about how you express love towards yourself and towards other people. And like the whole list of planets kind of like rule a part of your life. So Mercury is kind of like how you communicate. Venus is how you love somebody or love yourself. The moon is your emotions. The sun is like who you are. And then Pluto, Jupiter, like all the outer planets have other like meanings to yourself. Like Jupiter is like how you party, how you do business, how you like to have fun. Like Jupiter is a very jovial planet. Like that's what rules like how you feel like when you're at a party. You
I
know?
think
that's my
I think
favorite.
Flo and Brandon, their Jupiter is
Jupiter.
kind of their thing.
I was trying to remember Jupiter especially, so that's good. Dang. Wait, but so you self-taught yourself all of that?
Yes, and you know, still learning. astrology is so vast, and there's lots of math in it. You know, you'll hear things about like, oh, your moon is in this quadrant, sextile this, and like conjunct to this other sign and this other planet at that degree. Lots of math that goes into it, and it's really complicated. So when people, it kind of irks me whenever people say like, oh, astrology is so generic, it just like it could pertain to anybody. It's a actually huge myth, you know.
That's funny because a lot of us are like kind of skeptical about it.
That's insane. Wait, so as specific as you go, so you fully believe in astrology? The deeper you go as well, right?
Yes, like I believe it, but definitely with a grain of salt. Like, you know, like I said, astrology isn't a way to predict something or somebody. It's kind of just like clues as to what someone can be like. So, but the further that you delve into astrology, the more that you look into it, and when you study your chart, it'll just look like a circle with a bunch of lines everywhere. Kind of like, it's like super
It is,
weird,
yeah.
complicated, and it just like you're just left feeling super confused. Like, what the fuck does like sextile mean? What the fuck does all these? Sorry if I'm cussing. I don't know if you guys.
No, it's
No,
fine,
No,
it's
you
fine.
can,
honestly,
We
you
we
cuss
can.
all
cuss
the
Go
all
time.
the
ahead.
time.
Yeah,
But
fuck.
like
Let's do it.
it's it gets very complicated, and it's super specific, and it can get so specific that it's kind of scary, because there are some parts of astrology where it kind of even predicts or like it clues into like how your relationship is with your parents. And like in my experience, like it was very accurate, where um I was reading something where it was telling me like something about my chart told me that like your relationship to your mom is that your mom always pressured you to look a specific way, and like is very into aesthetics. And I was just like, that is so my mom, you know. And even my sister agrees. My sister and my brother have different experiences with my mom. The way I've
Mhm.
experienced my mom is that yes, that is how she is. But with my sister and her chart, the way that she's experienced my mom is completely different. And she says that it's also accurate for her.
Ooh,
And
that's so
yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, that
it's
is.
like it talks about your relationships to like your parents and like your um, people around you, and how you are with your partners and stuff like that. It's at most it's an interesting thing, right? Like
Mhm.
astrology isn't super harmful or anything. Like, wow, that's interesting, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, because I was gonna say, like you said earlier about social media, there's a lot of people who are into astrology.
Mhm.
What's the biggest misconception? And you know, I'm pretty sure you've heard of like, oh, people just say these type of things. You're just like fed up with it. But yeah, what is the biggest misconception about astrology? Would you say? Oh,
I guess it has to be the one that I just said, where it's just like, oh, it's just
Mhm.
so generic. Where
Right.
it can be very generic, but the reason why people think it's so generic is because they only know their sun sign, and it's like, okay, yeah,
Mm.
you're only gonna know one tiny aspect of your chart, and that could relate to anybody, of course. You know, it's like I said, like you look at like this wheel that has a bunch of like different signs, like planets, and like, you know, planets that you've never even heard of. Like, what the fuck is a Chiron? You know, like people don't know what a
Wait. What is a Chiron?
Chiron
It's a planet,
is.
Sandy.
Chiron is this it's this comet that passes by, and like where Chiron is in your chart, it's supposed to like clue as to how your past life died, or like something that you have to work on in this life. And for me, it's in Scorpio, and what that meant is that I have a struggle with really conveying deep emotions for myself. And it's true, like I don't like talking about like things that hurt me or things that like scare me. And it's just
Mhm.
it's interesting to see those things, and it's like whether it resonates with you or not could be because of other signs in like your chart. There are times when a um there are times when specific planets are in a sign, and then another planet is in a sign opposite of that will fight different aspects of meanings of other signs in a chart, or whether it falls in a different house. Let me like explain it like in levels. So there's your planets, right? The planets
Mm-hmm.
that circle like the sun, and there's the houses that move every 24 hours. They move.
Mhm.
That's why you need to know what time you were born specifically. And then there's the signs that also move throughout the year. So these things are constantly moving, and each house is ruled by specific signs and blah blah blah. It's like super complicated that if I were to really like explain everything, this podcast would be like 3 hours long.
I
And I'm
mean,
still learning, I'm still learning
mhm.
about everything.
Yeah. So I definitely get that. So just kind of to like, for us to understand how it's like, can you read one of our signs?
Yeah. So you did send me Flo and Jane's chart. Sorry, I'm gonna disappear for a second.
Okay, yeah.
Go with James.
Jane's.
I feel like
I'm
it's gonna be
scared.
so specific and it might relate to me. I don't want our viewers to know too much about me.
No.
That's fine. Okay, so Jane, you did say you guys can still hear me, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so Jane, you're a Virgo. Um, Virgo Sun, Taurus Moon, Cancer Rising. Did you know this already, or is this like the first time you hearing this?
Virgo what?
So your Sun is in Virgo.
Mhm.
Your Moon is in Taurus,
Um,
and your Rising is in Cancer. So these are your big three. So if somebody like on a dating app ever asks you like, "Hey, what's your big three?" Like this is what you say.
oh, dating
Um,
app, got it.
so it sounds like a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo. I get it. It's like, what? I don't understand. But your sun is in Virgo, and it's also in the third house. So the houses I'll get into later. If you want me to expand on that, I can. Um, but you as a Virgo, this is kind of like how you are. This is how you organize yourself. And Virgo is a very organized energy, or at least that's what people think how you are. You come across as like someone that's very put together, um you're a mutable sign, so it's kind of like, sorry, I'm like reading this thing, it's like, oh, this rules the digestive system, and I'm like, okay, I don't need to know that. If anyone is curious, I'm using the app Time Passages.
Mhm.
Everyone has downloaded like CoStar. Just
Mhm.
for your audience, like, everyone delete CoStar. CoStar sucks. Not accurate at all.
That
um
is so funny because Brandon actually uses CoStar.
Well, yeah. I mean, I downloaded it because everyone was talking about Zodiac, so I didn't know any better. But wow. Okay, deleting
That
now.
that is true. I did
Deleting
use
now.
CoStar at some point
No,
too.
I use CoStar too, and it's fun to use CoStar because you can connect with your friends. You're like, oh yeah, add me on CoStar. It's like a weird astrology Facebook, and it'll tell you weird things like, oh, um, hang out with Virgo suns. It'll give you recommendations of your friends that have Virgo suns.
Mhm.
It's just weird like that. But Time Passages is a better app because it's more specific, and it's more complicated, and it's hard to read, but once you get the hang of it, you'll get it. Um,
Mm.
so your sun is in Virgo in the third house, which represents a concentration of the vital forces of developing one's intellect and communicating one's idea with others. You are keenly observant, you are constantly curious, and have a need to learn new ideas and change your ideas with those who can stimulate you. You may very well be a good speaker or writer, for observation skills may give you the ability to understand, communicate scientific ideas. You may desire to be seen for your knowledge, striving to add your storehouse of information, enlivens you. You are on a journey that is about discovering everything that you can about the world and communicating your knowledge. I'm not going to read this whole like long paragraph, but I'm going to move on to your moon, to your moon sign. Your moon is in Taurus. So just I'm not even gonna read. I'm not even gonna read the paragraph right now. I'm just gonna tell you what I know about Taurus and moon signs in Taurus. Moon signs in Taurus, you like emotionally you are quite stable, in a sense. But however, once you're angered, once like you feel such like or like passion energy or like you are really pissed off, you're just like you have a tongue and you use it and it's sharp.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Wait, does that sound like you at all, Jane? Or
Yeah.
Flo, do you agree with that?
I like how you asked Flo.
I don't really know. I think so. I would agree. I would agree.
No, the
Um,
reason why I asked Flo is because Flo's is like very close with Jane. That's why,
The thing is, Jane rarely gets that mad at me. I think, right?
It's more like you know how at work when I get like heated a lot and then I get like so pissed off and stressed.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. When
Yeah, like
okay.
that
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
handle. But
She's
every
just never been
emotion,
that mad to me, so I
yeah,
couldn't
to
relate
him.
it. But if I seen it in other aspects, I could see that definitely.
let me continue. So also, it's in the 11th house. Okay, so I'm gonna again not look at the paragraph. Then I'll just like as a way for me to exercise my own knowledge. So the 11th house is ruled by Aquarius. So moon sign in Taurus in the 11th house. You are stable, but one of the things that really makes you feel good is being part of something, kind of like part of a collective or like being part of a project like this, you know.
Long. Hey, I was gonna say that.
You also have like a deep connection to um, kind of the community. You know, you have a community of your own that you feel very connected to, and the best way that you want to feel good, or like whenever you're down, you have the tendency to like you'll take that time to process your emotions, right? You'll take the time to feel these emotions and take time for yourself, and then when you really want to once you process those emotions, you tend to be the type of person to okay, um let me go out with a couple people, or like let me help, like do maybe you do volunteering, maybe you want to be part of um a way to help your community, or just ways for you to really get yourself out there. And then now I'm going to read the paragraph. You seek comfort and security in friends and groups associations. You are dynamic in group settings, although you do not need to feel like the center of attention. You may be detached and objective in social circumstances because you do not want to commit your allegiance to one group or another. You prefer to have several types of acquaintances in various group settings. You do well as an organizer of group events, even in parties or friend groups, meetings, or social events. You have a tendency to overextend yourself and become divided by being involved in too many groups, projects all at once. You may need to guard against being too naive, friendly, and talking too much or taking too much responsibility for groups.
Whoa.
That's like on.
Jane
That's
looks
like on
shocked.
Whoa.
point.
Dang.
What?
Is this accurate so far? Is this like
Yeah.
resonating with you?
Yeah, I love volunteering and I am in a bunch of different groups and I am the organizer of the group.
You should tell
And
them
then
about how many what you're part of at your work, how many
yeah,
projects you're involved in.
I am involved in a lot of projects and I'm also I feel very responsible for all of them at the same time, which kind of stresses me out. So yeah. So what
And
age
just for
am I gonna
everyone's
get
knowledge,
married? I'm just kidding.
and just for everyone's knowledge, like this is the first time I've been on this. Like I've never met
Mhm.
these people. Like
True.
Mhm.
Very
No.
true.
I've never
Wow.
Sandy's never
wow.
told me anything about you guys. So yeah.
Wait, so is this how not fortune tellers, but people with tarot cards maybe? Like or I guess because there was like a sort of fortune teller in the past, or it wasn't really a fortune teller. I just don't know how to say it the proper
So
way.
um A tarot card reader.
Yeah,
Essentially,
I think I remember my mom telling one of the persons my name, my date of birth, and my time, and that person was on point with everything about me. And I'm assuming they used astrology on that then. I mean,
so
do you know?
astrology, uh, the way a lot of people who read tarot cards, because I also read tarot cards, Hellenic astrology and tarot cards are related, where tarot card readers also use the energies of astrology and like the star and all these things. Um, like you can see each sign depicted and symbolized in each different kinds of tarot card. Like Aquarius is depicted as somebody with a vase pouring water, right? As because Aquariuses are the water bearers, and mistakenly we are actually an air sign. People think that we're water signs, but we're actually air signs. Um, and in tarot cards, uh, we are depicted as the star. The star is kind of symbolizes hope, and it's depicted as a woman or a person pouring water into the earth, and it's a way of to symbolize knowledge. That water that's being poured um, is knowledge and emotions being poured onto the earth. So that's how it is believed, or that's what it symbolizes. So
Dang,
astrology and tarot cards are very closely related.
that is interesting. I kind of want to get more into it right now.
It's very interesting. It gets scary specific.
I have a question though. So does that mean if anybody that is born at the same day, same time as me exactly, then that person is most likely to be exactly like me then?
If there was a baby that was born exactly at the same time at the same place that you were, yes, most likely they are going to be just like you. But
I'm sure there's one of my twins out there.
Oh
but at the
God.
same time, that's kind of like um that kind of like it could like twins, for example, right? Twins are born only like minutes apart from each other, but there are cases of twins that are drastically different, right?
Mhm.
There are cases where like a twin can be super goth and super this way, and another twin is like completely the opposite. The reason why that is because like I said, astrology is kind of a way of like external factors that play into who you are as a person. You just have to also take into mind like internal factors, like how you were raised.
Mhm.
So
Wait.
that's why I always say like take astrology with a grain of salt. Like it's a very like good way of understanding how a person can be, but always like take into account how somebody was raised, what the aspects of somebody, of like who they are, like how they grew up. And like you're not just your natal chart, or you're not just your one
Mhm.
sign, you're multiple things. The reason why astrology is so complicated and so hard to study is because us as human beings, we are complicated, we are hard to study, we are completely different, like an onion, like Shrek, like an onion, we're layers.
Genius.
Like that.
I mean, but speaking of how we were raised and stuff, you told us that you were Filipino Chinese.
Hmm.
So because my family is actually also Filipino Chinese, and my mom's side, and I know they're very reserved in a sense. Do you actually believe that maybe that's also a reason why these stars are showing you that the way you are is also because of the way your family raised you, or did they alter that?
um like I said, like astrology can kind of like tell you what your relationship with your mom was like, right? Or tell you what your relationship with your dad is like. And that can take that can be a factor that you can take into account. um but like culturally speaking, like yeah, I feel like a lot of Filipinos, a lot of Filipinos do believe in astrology. And us being also like Chinese, like lots of Chinese people believe in like the
Yes.
Chinese zodiac. So astrology has always been there. Astrology has always been there culturally for many different civilizations. So it's definitely like something that if you grew up in it, you can like if you grew up in that culture, you can see aspects of astrology in your life every day.
That
Mm.
is insane.
To be honest, I only know the Chinese ones.
See, okay. You know what's so funny is that I was thinking about going into that one too, and just kind of like exploring that. What I do know about Chinese astrology is that like Hellenic astrology, it's a lot more complicated than we think it is. It's not just like what year we were born. Like I did for a long time, I thought I was year of the ox because I was 97. And everyone's like, oh, 97's year of the ox. But then when I put in my birthday, I realized that Chinese New Year was in February that year. So technically I was the year before that. So I'm technically year of the rat, not year of the ox.
Oh.
And then like taking into account yin and yang, like how the weather of when we were born, what the weather was like, and like how you grew up, the astrology of your mom and like your parents, how that is affecting you today, and like a bunch of different, like it's completely different from Hellenic astrology, and it's like a totally different school of thought that I'm very interested in learning myself.
Yeah, when you said that you were year of the rat, I thought you were 96 because I'm the year of the rat too, and I'm 96. But I didn't know that it could actually go that way as well.
Yeah, I believe Chinese astrology, I mean Chinese New Year is, or like Lunar New Year is like soon or now.
It's the 12th.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
soon,
is.
yeah.
Yeah.
You can
Whoa.
also report our taxes on the 12th, so do your taxes.
Can you do one on flow?
Yeah, definitely. Flo, I was looking at your chart earlier and I'm like, we could be good friends.
All right.
Oh.
All right. That's a good thing. I like that.
So you're a Gemini sun, and your moon is in Pisces, and your rising is in Leo. So Gemini sun. Ooh, in the 11th house as well. Okay.
What is that supposed to be?
So, right. I'm not even gonna read. I'm
We're
not
not
gonna
good
read it
friends.
again. I'm just gonna kind of just do my own thing, my own interpretation of it. So Gemini, Gemini sun's in the 11th house. Interesting placement, and because it's like so Aquariuses and Geminis are both air signs, and they get along very well. um Mainly because we're so into intellect and understanding and knowledge, right? And your sun and Gemini sitting on the 11th house kind of is just also about the collective, also like understanding everybody to like their truest form, and like being part of something bigger than yourself, really, and getting to know like the ins and outs of a person, and um or society, and like really like I wouldn't be surprised if you were really into conspiracy theories.
I am. I am.
I knew it.
Fuck.
I knew
Man,
it.
shit. All right. Everything sounds
Um,
perfect right now. It's on point. Dang.
Let me see. Let me read the thing.
That is crazy.
You enjoy membership with groups, and with groups of friends, and may find your identity in that way. You may be drawn to a collective awareness that has a specific social, humanitarian, religious, or political purpose. In whatever group or groups you choose to participate in, you easily align your ideals and sense of purpose with those of the collective. Your sense of group awareness leads you to become a focus of leadership with this group. Whether a formal group leader or an influential friend among a group of friends, your awareness on connectivity impacts those in your circle and opens them to sharing common goals and objectives. Your intuitive awareness of collective needs, wants, and desires may give you a sense of having a mission in life. Surrounding yourself with like minded people gives you a sense of security and meaning. And you may even be vulnerable to losing your personal identity to a group because of the belief system. You can transcend this difficulty by creating friendships where you can bond with individuals rather than a common collective idea. That's interesting.
I believe that too.
Honestly,
Oh,
yeah, for myself, I very much relate to that because I feel like, at least like in relationships, I tend to like lose myself and I need to like get back to like me. You know, like when people say like astrology is generic, um, yes and no, because it's generic and specific at the same time. Because there are aspects of one sign that you can see in other signs, like Capricorn and Virgos are very known for being organized, very go-getters, and because they're Earth signs, but they are still specifically different characteristics of each other. They're still completely different signs, and different, and they could be in different houses, and that's why like one Virgo person is completely different from another Virgo person, or one Capricorn person is completely different from another Capricorn person. Because they're
Mhm.
like I said, people are complicated. We have different things in our charts.
Yeah. Wow.
That is true. Can you tell us a bit about our compatibility with each other as a team?
Yeah, okay.
Oh.
I can only really do sun signs because that's all I know from you guys. I
Mhm.
don't know like everything else. So Sandy, you're an Aquarius. Um, you and Flo, great friends. Could talk about anything and everything.
Oh.
Um, Brandon, what was your sign again?
Sagittarius.
Sagittarius. See, okay. Um,
Uh-oh.
fire signs and air signs go so well together because you just like you feel hyped up by air signs. Like like air signs will fan the flames and it's just like you feel good around air signs. Virgo, Jane, you're a Virgo. Um, you sometimes you feel scared about this group and you're like, I need to bring you guys back to reality, and you are kind of like that person that's literally their rock because you're an earth sign and you're the one that like, okay guys, let's put it all back together, let's reorganize ourselves and move on.
Do you,
Sandy, you are the idea person. You're like, oh, let's do this, like let's have this as the next topic, or like you also care for like everyone in the group,
wait,
all
that
these things.
is very accurate. Like when Spin Along started, we actually didn't have Jane, and when she came to the group and she joined us, she was like, "Okay, guys, we need to reorganize." For Sandy, she's always thinking about ideas and all that. Me and Flo are just like, "Let's just do it. Frick it, let's just do it." Oh my god, yeah. Oh, I'm like, I can't sleep.
Dang. That
What?
is.
Damn, that is actually really accurate.
Wait, so who's an air sign?
Me and Flo.
Sandy, yeah, Sandy and Flo are air signs.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are just missing a water sign. That would balance
Mm.
this whole group out. A water sign could kind of add a little bit more of an emotional perspective on this. I feel like this group is very much about intellect, right? About knowledge and
Mm-hmm.
about like pursuit of knowledge, like and understanding
Poquito.
things. Having a water sign will kind of give a more empathetic understanding of things.
Who's
That's
a.
so
Mm-hmm.
true.
What's water? Like a what?
Water signs would be a Scorpio, Pisces, and a Cancer. If
So
I remember correctly,
crazy.
Jane has a um, rising in Cancer. So we didn't get to your rising sign, but Cancer risings, you do come across as that person that is more empathetic. You are able to really get to know somebody, and you kind of tend to be an empath, where when somebody cries in front of you, you can't stand it because then you might cry as well, or like you'll feel that, and it penetrates you in a deeper level.
All right, Brandon, go cry in front of her. I want to see if that happens.
It was so funny because I told Brandon one time that I cried out watching like a drama, and he was like, "You're not like what? Like you're the type of person that cries?" I'm like, "Yes, yes, Brandon, I have feelings."
I'm just mind blown. I mean, yeah. I mean, I just didn't expect it because whenever I meet Jane, it's like always, Brandon, let's drink. I'm just kidding. But that's oh wow.
No, that's you and Flo. Honestly, like you guys like hype each other on like when it comes to like drinking or partying or just whatever. Like
It's
more
so
like
easy
me
to
and
hype up
Brandon.
Brandon though. You
It's
just
more like me and Brandon. We have the bottle. We're like, come on, Flo, Flo, Flo.
Whoa.
Flo has a rising in Leo, and that's interesting. Um, because Leos are notorious for wanting the spotlight.
Whoa.
Ah,
So
dude.
Or
attention.
like kind of like the leader, but they're not the leader.
That's kind of true though. I
That's so
agree.
true.
So because I
Like
He
feel
wants
like
the attention.
no, there's two ways. Yeah, sometimes I want to lead, but then halfway through it, I just like I don't want the responsibility, so I back out too.
exactly.
Just like at parties when I'm like, everybody, let's play Rage Cage. Once it's set up, I'm
Oh
like, all right,
my,
I'm going back to my room, and then I'm gonna sleep.
That is so
Dang,
true.
that's what?
I bet he's going into the room because he wants attention too.
oh,
It ain't like that. It ain't like that. Nope, nope,
No,
nope.
maybe.
Actually,
Maybe,
it could
bro.
be. I don't know. When I'm drunk,
ooh, I'm
is
seeing so in Flo's chart, you have a Pisces moon in your eighth house. Also, you're born in France. That's interesting.
yeah.
Tu parles français?
Je parle français, oui. Oui, oui.
Oh, je parle français. Mais mon français est très, très, très mauvais.
Comment ça se fait que tu parles français?
Oui, je parle français. Mais mon français est très mauvais.
C'est pas
Oh.
mal. T'as appris où?
And this is string along.
Wait, what? Wait, wait,
we
wait.
have no
Wait,
idea
let's
what
put it
you
back into English. But wait, where'd you learn French? What? Your French is
By
pretty
myself.
good.
I self taught myself French.
Wow.
Wow, you are insane. Your accent is like pretty good.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you.
almost like you're actually born in France. It's yeah. Oh my god. What the?
I
Wait.
speak 6 languages, by the way. Just saying.
No way.
What are the
What
other ones?
languages?
English, obviously, Tagalog, Spanish, French, Japanese, and ASL.
Dang. My brothers are
Learn
gonna watch.
Korean.
My brothers are gonna watch this episode, and they're gonna actually they're gonna like support me, saying that your
Wow.
French is actually pretty good.
No.
Damn. What
But that's
the-
why Jamie and Flo, you guys are good, like compatible,
Yeah.
right? Because Jamie
Okay,
was
but
saying that, yeah.
when I'm looking at it, Jamie's intellect is way higher than mine for 100%, like 100%. It's what
But that does
the-
not
Yeah,
determine
no, of course,
compatibility.
No, compatibility. I agree, 100%.
Flo, you have a moon in Pisces in the eighth house. This is interesting. I like this because that is also a water sign, and this is why like maybe you guys don't need another water person. It would be nice though, but since you two have like since there's someone with Cancer rising and you have Pisces moon, especially in the eighth house, which is ruled by Scorpio, you are weirdly like you're weirdly intuitive. Like when you
Okay.
say something, like you're a bad jinx too.
Me? What?
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
If something happens, it's like you said it, like you say something 3 seconds later it happens.
I think that happens with stocks quite often.
Yes, I was gonna say that.
I think.
I was gonna say that, Flo. I was like, we were just talking about GameStop.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Dang. So I have some
So it's
power. I have some power,
like
right?
you know. Okay, so when I was training to be a flight attendant, I'm also a really bad jinx. I don't know why. Nothing in my chart really says that I'm like psychic or anything, but for some reason I am an intuitive person, and I jinx this. I believe so at least. I asked one of my instructors like, "Oh, has there ever been a time because they flew me to Utah, and that's where I had to go to training, and it was in January." And I asked them like, "Oh, has there ever been a time when we had to like cancel class and like what happens because we are in the set schedule of um a 4 week training right? And it's super on schedule. Everything has to be like end on this time, blah blah blah. And I asked him like, has there ever been a time where we had to cancel class? Because then what? Because I was wondering like, what would happen if that happens? Like, will we have to spend an extra day training or whatever? And she tells me like, oh, there has never been a case where we've ever had to cancel class. The next day, a fire broke out in the in the maintenance building, and we had to evacuate, and class got canceled.
That is so funny.
And I swear to God, I'm like, I jinxed it. It's me. It's my fault. I'm sorry, guys. I said it.
Wow.
But
I have a question for you.
yeah.
When I was looking at Virgos, it said I was not compatible with Gemini, which is Flo, and Sagittarius, which is Brandon. Is it true?
So yes, because earth signs, fire signs, and air signs, earth signs are most compatible with water signs. And the reason why it can say that you're not compatible with those two signs is because air signs are very flighty people, or like we are up in the air constantly thinking, and in like earth signs and air signs are compatible in the sense of like intellect, where they rival each other when it comes to intellect. But earth signs, I mean, air signs are notorious for being disorganized, for being like flighty people, for being like not untrustworthy. What's inconsistent? You know,
Organized.
Oh,
Oh, I'm inconsistent.
Lord.
Fuck, shit. That is
um,
true.
and it's not compatible for an earth sign who is, you know, very organized, or somebody that has their shit together, or like at least appears to have their shit together. Or like they like earth signs like consistency. They like material, like one also material objects, consistency. They like all these things. So and that's something like an air sign can't really provide. Air signs love their freedom, and they don't like to be tied down. So that's in a way not compatible.
Whoa,
For fire,
Sandy, sounds like you.
for fire signs, it's the reason why fire signs and earth signs are not that compatible is because fire signs are just dramatic. You know, fire signs like Sagittarius. Okay, Sagittarius. I have so many friends who are Sagittarius, and let me just say, like Sagittarius people, they can be inconsistent. Okay, like it's just like, and it's just like they're just ruled by passion, and just like, you know they just want to do so many things at the same time, and it's just
Oh my
not.
God. That
And
is
like
so true.
earth signs just don't like that. They want like one thing at a time. Let's be consistent. Let's just do like focus on one thing. Sagittarius, however, is just like juggling like a plate, flying a plane at the same time, and just like doing okay.
Dang.
It's not multitasking.
Yeah, nah, stop.
Multitasking. Yeah, that's a good word for it. More like, I would like to say chaotic tasking.
Better wording. I like that. Wait, so what? It's weird because like when I'm looking at the signs, like yeah, I'm not compatible with Virgos, but I'd say at least half of my closest friends are Virgos. Like,
And that is why you have to look at the whole chart. These are just like your sun signs that you're looking at. Um, you have Leo rising and a Pisces moon. So the Pisces moon is what really connects you with earth signs, because earth signs and water signs are compatible in a sense of like they don't like too much, like water signs don't like too much disturbance. you know at the same time, they can be very passionate, and they can empathize with earth signs in ways of like um being like earth signs and water signs can be emotional together, and they like their peace and quiet.
Oh.
They're like Flo, you're the one with the Pisces moon. So when you're sad or when you're feeling a negative emotion, your first response is, I'm gonna go to my room.
Oh shit! What? Dang, and that's kind of true. Oh,
And like you're gonna process that emotion, right? But with your Leo rising, you're gonna act like it's fine.
what?
You're gonna act like you're not bothered at all. Like, yeah, that's fine.
Dude, I am.
Whoa.
Okay, wait. Here's the huge explanation why some people believe I'm bipolar. And I think that's what you're just explaining right now. So usually, when I'm sad, yeah, I go to my bed. And I used to think I would go to my room because, it's my bed. So, like, I'm being lazy, so I'm going to lie down. And then a couple seconds later, I guess my Leo sign tells me to wake the fuck up. Everything's going to be all right. And let's get it back to, like, what I'm supposed to do. And then so I go back and come out of my room and I come out. And then they're battling each other, kind of. I'm sad, but I'm happy. Or I'm sad and I'm, like, ambitious at the same time, kind of fighting each other.
I'm alive, I'm dead.
Exactly. Exactly. Dang.
See, and you can like I said, like astrology for a long time has been used for psychology, right? So air signs are very susceptible to bipolar disorder. Um,
Okay.
water signs are susceptible to depression. Um, fire signs are susceptible to anger issues.
Whoa. Whoa.
That's so interesting.
And like having all of these elements, and it's very obvious, like fire, passion, anger, whatever, water, emotion, depression, all sadness, air sign, like flighty, inconsistency, bipolar disorder, um earth signs are very stoic people. We're just like, you know the signs that are most um associated with psychopaths are Virgos, uh, Virgos, Taurus, and Cancer. These are the three
Huh?
most,
Interesting.
I'm
and
safe.
and Gemini.
And Gemini?
Right now, I'm talking to this guy, and he has all three as his big three, and I'm like,
Oh,
I'm scared.
shit.
I'm scared you're gonna kill me, but that's hot.
Dang, this whole episode right now is just making
Honest-
me believe in astrology now. I'm like 100%. I 100% believe it.
I'm so
No, I,
glad.
I, I
Join the
definitely
cult.
understand it a lot more.
I want
Yeah,
I
no.
want you to say something about Sandy. I know you already know Sandy, but
Mhm.
like the thing is, I've met her this year. I met Brandon this year too, but I met him in person multiple times. But I've never met Sandy in real life, and I know I already know about Flo and Brandon, so like hearing it, I could like kind of assure what it is. But I want to kind of know about Sandy as well.
Okay, I don't
Mm.
have Sandy's chart, so I don't know
Oh,
anything
okay.
about Sandy's chart. All I know is that she's Aquarius sun.
I just
Some
want to know like how you guys are different as being the same son.
So what's interesting is that you can be the same sun, but have completely different.
Sun,
Still
right?
be completely different, not just because of the other signs at play, but because of when you were born. So there's these things called um, first, second, or third decants, which is kind of like that's when like the math comes into play uh, in astrology. Because Sandy and I are first decants Aquariuses. There's and the reason why is because Aquarius is ruled by Saturn and by Uranus. So if you're a January Aquarius, you're more on the Saturn side. So you're more like organized, you're more humanitarian, and you're more cutthroat if anything. If you're on the February side, you're more ruled by Neptune, and um, you're also what's it called? Um, you're complemented by the sign of Libra at the same time. So those Aquariuses are more weird. Like Aquariuses get the bad rep of being weirdos, and Aquariuses who are born in February are the ones who are more outwardly weird, in a sense of like their fashion may be weird. They wear mismatched colors, or they don't care about what people think. These are like the people who really do think outside the box, and they don't care about what people think of them, versus January babies or January Aquariuses who are more intellectually different, or like who think outside the box but are a lot less outwardly so. Um, just knowing Sandy, knowing Aquarius, that she's an Aquarius, tells me that, oh, she is the ideas person. She's somebody that constantly thinks outside the box. How can we be different, and how can we not look like other people or other podcasts? Um, Also, she has a deep connection with humanitarians, and like wanting to um, do good for like most of humanity, more on the collective than the individual. At the same time, prioritizing the individual for the sake of the collective.
Wow. That is so accurate. Because I've known Sandy for like almost 3 years or 2 years. And just knowing her and the way she speaks and stuff, it truly defines her. Like, oh my God. I'm so mind blown. I do have a question though. So
Uh-huh.
I was born on the 21st of December, and
Uh-huh.
it's pretty much at the end of Sagittarius.
So you're a cusp. Yeah, you're a cusp with Capricorn. Uh, what I can tell you about that is that you are also very you could be very organized when you really want to. Being
I'll
cusp
take that.
being cusp with Capricorn, um, yeah, you are more on the Saturn side, so you can be also very cutthroat. You can be organized, and you can take aspects of Capricorn traits in you. That's what they really mean. Is that if you're a cusp, that means you kind of share some aspects of the other sign next to you.
So would my son's sign be Capricorn and Sagittarius technically, or is it
Yeah,
just
and I believe Sandy's also a cusp. I believe Sandy's also a Capricorn Aquarius cusp. Now you're all gonna just like be like, "What's my daily horoscope for today?" Which, by the way, like if you guys are interested in those, like yeah, read those. But I suggest reading those at the end of the day, so that you can reflect back. Because when you read it in the morning, it kind of just becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? So a good way to kind of just see if it's accurate is to read it at the end of the day and reflect on whether that was true or not.
Ooh, that's a interesting way to look at it.
Really good tip for our viewers right there.
Yeah, definitely. Like if you're, I'd never read my daily horoscope. I just kind of ignore that. I don't really read that. I'm like, I don't want to know. I don't really
yeah,
care.
no co-star, no co-star.
No
Just
co-star. I mean, like,
I-
Time Passages is really good, um, but it's complicated. Like, if you go on the app, it's kind of hard to navigate, and you have to pay for things.
Mhm.
That
It's like
that
a
is
dollar,
true.
but like I had to. I spent a little money on like Flo and Jane's charts. I was just like, I want to know. So
Oh,
it
you
was just a
did?
dollar. Just a dollar
Mm,
each. So I was just like, whatever.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
yeah,
Yeah, no problem.
it's worth. It was so worth it. Like, whoa, I'm still shook.
I understand myself better now. Like why?
That's good.
Because
That's very good.
it's also there's a really like the biggest thing that I'm actually trying to work on myself right now is discipline. Because I'm unorganized and I am very what's it called? in not indecisive. What was the word that you used?
Inconsistent.
Inconsistent. I'm very inconsistent, but then if you have discipline, you're consistent because you always do what you're supposed to be doing.
So
Um,
you're Pisces. So your inconsistency comes from your sun. I'd have to look at your whole chart really to
freaking
understand, but from just
Gemini's.
knowing your big three says a lot already. Um, look, if you look at a chart and you read what your Mars is, whatever your Mars is how you work, or like kind of how you handle your anger and how you handle everyday life, or just like your career
Right.
is ruled by Mars. So if it's in an air sign, I'm not surprised. My Mars is in Libra, and I'm also very inconsistent. I told my friend I was gonna go like see him, and I remembered like, oh, I have a podcast to be part of. Never mind.
So you use
Whoa.
Cafe Astrology?
Cafe Astrology is a good site to go to. Um, the I don't remember if they put your whole chart, but they put it in like a column. They put your chart in a column, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
But you don't see your natal wheel. Though, like those, that's the circle one that's really hard to look at.
Okay,
Mhm.
yeah, I see that. That's
You know,
insane.
I'm just still so mind blown. Holy crap! Like, you have no idea. I've always been interested in horoscopes and how astrology works, but whenever I meet people, they only see my sun sign, and then they're just like, "Oh, he's such a Sagittarius." When people say that, it's just like, no, I'm. I was like, you can't really just judge people. You know what I mean? Like,
Uh-huh.
You
but
know,
it's just
like
interesting.
sometimes I see astrologers and like, or like everyone that knows like some parts of astrology. Sometimes I'm just like, you're being racist because like, oh, you're a Sagittarius, blah 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 blah. And I'm
Yup.
like, that's racist. That's like
But
astrologically
uh-huh.
racist.
I'm gonna tell you right now, the better you know a person, you should just drink with them, have fun, and get to know them.
You'll know,
Mhm.
you can, yeah, you'll know a lot about a person if you drink with them. And depending on the person, where their signs are at, you'll get to know one of their planets, if anything. Like you might know, depending on the setting, you might get to know their Jupiter and how they like to party. Or if it's like a very intimate setting, you'll get to know their moon sign and how they are privately with other people and how they process emotions.
It is just mind blowing, and we really appreciate like everything. Like, thank you so much.
Yeah,
It's
of course.
All right. So Jamie, are there like any last things you want to tell the listeners out there?
Let's see. Drink water.
oh yeah.
Drink water. Focus on mental health. Right now, politically speaking, with the whole thing about the coronavirus, I hope everyone can just like be better for themselves and just like take care of each other, take care of yourself, take care of your mental health, especially. And yeah, peace, love, and unity for everyone, I guess.
Yes.
Yes.
Favors. And then, so where can our viewers find you if they ever want to reach out to you and talk about astrology?
My Instagram is T3T Jamie. You can reach me on there.
So thank you, viewers, for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed that episode.
Don't forget to subscribe and like our video.
Make sure to follow Jamie if you want more information on astrology, or just give us a follow, like, and then join our Discord channel as well.
And most importantly, fuck co-star. Time passages. Honestly, I've never learned so much, but we want to thank Jamie for everything today and for his time and just helping out.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you,
you,
Jamie.
Jamie.